Hello there, thanks for coming by PosterCentral.com's video blog today. I'm Pete Howard, and today we're highlighting the Monterey Pop International Pop Festival. I said pop twice. My favorite weekend in the history of contemporary music. Sorry Woodstock, you're a strong second. Oh my gosh, you know all about it. If you're seeing this video, you know all about Monterey Pop. What a summer of '67 event this was. Just absolutely awesome. So they made two posters for the show, and I'm going to be showing both of them to you today. The large advertising poster made to sell tickets, and the smaller merchandising poster, which was actually sold at the show. So we have both of them here to show you today. First we have this large one. This is 19 inches wide, 35 inches tall, give or take a little, of course, a little bit. And this was put up around, well, all over the place, actually, probably all over California, before the show to sell tickets and get people's attention. And I think it actually appears in the background in the Monterey Pop movie, if you see it in a couple of places, this nice large advertising poster. And it's sort of printed on a metallic foil stock, which is highly unusual, with a white background. And it's just very, very large and looks very commanding framed. But it's, as far as a collector's piece, I suppose it's mostly for the real serious poster and concert poster collector. Most people are very happy to have the smaller size, which was, of course, printed before the show in quantities to be able to sell at the show. I haven't heard for how much, but $1 each comes to mind as a good guess. I don't know if it was that or $2 or whatever. And here's the smaller size, which I'll complete the video with because it's so much less cumbersome than that big beauty I just put down. So this one is about 12 by 21 inches. Again, the same metallic foil, the highly reflective material, as you can see, with a white back and sort of the flexible cardstock. And it's all the wording. I will actually zoom in to show you this one because it's easier. All the wording on the two posters is absolutely identical down to the tiniest detail, all the punctuation and everything. And of course there's the blue lettered headline. Look at that reflection playing craziness. That's pretty neat. And there are the ticket locations in San Francisco, Los Angeles, and elsewhere. And so naturally there are fewer copies of the big ones than there are of the small ones, because the advertising ones often were just thrown away after the weekend, of course, whereas people who bought this one at the show were more likely to take it home and save it and frame it, stuff like that. But either way, it's the image, and it's really nice. And of course, oh my goodness, what a time at Monterey Pop. You know the acts, I don't have to say them, but I'll say a few anyway. It wouldn't be a complete blog without it, right? Jimi Hendrix, Experience, Janis Joplin, The Who, Otis Redding, Jefferson Airplane, Mamas and Papas, The Byrds. Just so many great people of the day, and lots of interesting acts. Couldn't make it, but had plans to, like the Beach Boys and everything else at the time, so that's always fun to hear about. What's interesting is with this massive talent lineup, you hear numbers of tens of thousands and everything having attended Monterey Pop, but only less than 6,000 could watch any given performer at any given time. It was not a giant, venue. It was intimate, as you've seen. If you've seen the movie or the DVD version, it's beautifully intimate. And so 5,800, 5,700, I'm not sure what it held exactly when packed to the gills, but boy, but of course it was spread over 3 days, and so I don't know if anybody saw every minute of what was on stage, or maybe stagehands and people who worked it. But what's really adventuresome or adventurous about this Monterey Pop Festival, it is basically the world's first, by all accounts, rock festival, right? I mean, come on, there were some perhaps smaller things, but as far as a well-organized, nationally advertised, full tilt boogie, full throttle event to attend to the masses, it was definitely Monterey Pop. And they booked acts from, a very eclectic set of genres in music: folk, blues, rhythm and blues, rock, world music, jazz. Just a really nice, back then that's what radio played too, right? Top 40 had almost all of those things, from Paul Marriott's Love is Blue, which was almost a classical ditty, to Bobby Gentry's Ode to Billy Joe, to rock and pop. That's the way radio was, and that's the way the Monterey Pop Festival was as well. Not only that, but the bookers for the festival, which include John Phillips of the Mamas and Papas and Lou Adler, an industry legend, they booked talent from all over the United States too. I hadn't really thought of that before. That's interesting, but from San Francisco and Los Angeles, of course, we all knew that, but also New York City, Chicago, and Memphis. So it was really, a really nice representation of the burgeoning, or the growing American music scene, I should say contemporary youth music scene at the time. You know what else? All these acts played for free. It was a charity event, this Monterey Pop weekend, with the one exception of Ravi Shankar, who was paid $3,000. I'm purely speculating here, but it might have been because he had to travel from India with a large entourage, but I'm not sure. So, as mentioned, these were printed on a metallic foil-like stock, which is highly reflective, and it was designed by one Tom Wilkes. This interesting design for this poster with that stylized, highly stylized, almost psychedelic lettering, and the dates across the top. I'm surmising he didn't put the names of the artists on the Monterey Pop poster because the lineup probably changed every hour right up till showtime. And even after the first day was going, perhaps some changes were made to the second and third day. So that would be a guess on my part. Perhaps Wilkes has given an interview where he clarifies. But Wilkes actually was just getting going with his art director career, and he went on to a long and distinguished career as an art director and designer for several record labels going forward after this. And in fact, he designed the album covers for the replacement Beggar's Banquet Rolling Stones album, which was just, if you think about it, stylized lettering on a white background, which looked like an invitation to a dinner party. And likewise, Neil Young's Harvest. The cover, again, not having a picture of Neil, just having very highly stylized lettering. So Tom Wilkes designed those two album covers along with lots of others. It wasn't always just lettering he did. He also did the album covers for the Rolling Stones' Flowers, which has pictures of the band members' faces, and even the Beatles' Red and Blue greatest hits albums of the early 70s, which was mostly photograph in those cases. But interestingly, Wilkes chose to show this silent movie actress, Theda Bara. She was a sex symbol, if you will, early in the motion picture industry, silent film actress from way back, and her nickname was the Vamp, and she was hot to trot back then, no doubt about it. But you can get a little closer on her face even. Theda Bara. And she was such an early actress that she made over 40 films, or perhaps 40 films, only 6 of which still exist today in their complete form. So that's really early in the movie business. In fact, she was paid, I think she peaked out at $4,000 a week, which put her just behind and only behind Charlie Chaplin and Mary Pickford in the pecking order of Hollywood actors and actresses. So I'll be honest with you, I hadn't heard of Theda Bara before researching this poster blog, but there she is, looking pretty vampy, and of course on her tie is the little guy with the musical instrument to his mouth, and he's wearing a psychedelic tie also, but that appears on a lot of Monterey Pop materials because Tom Wilkes, the designer of the poster, also designed the program for the show and everything involved with the show. So there you have it. To me, the most legendary, probably to you too, most legendary weekend in the history of rock, when it all came together. It was all about peace and love and flowers and no problems, and it was sort of the template for all big music festivals that followed, perhaps even to this day. Coachella, I don't know. Does that come out of Monterey Pop? Why not? It's a string of events, right? So, and a couple of posters to look for and collect, depending on what size you like. Sometimes smaller is better, but they're both great. And a really cool poster, so for a fantastic weekend. So, hope you enjoyed them, seeing them both side by side, and I enjoyed showing them, and thanks for coming by, and we'll see you next time. Have a good day. Bye-bye.